What up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. I got my guest right here, Jonathan Bayani, also go by the name of Bionic. Man, we're here for another Icey Talk Ep.2. The man we're interviewing today.
I got that. Yeah, I got that Crocs on, man. Here, let me use my skateboard to see if I can prop it up.
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds. Actually, I could do that. Yeah. Give me 2 seconds here. We talk. Now you can talk to me. I'm gonna be walking in my backyard real quick.
No, you good.
I'm gonna use this as like. I'm gonna grab a chair here real quick. There's a platform.
Take your time, bro.
That way we do the interview. I just don't want to be shaking the camera.
Yeah. How's the weather out in the Bay right now?
It's actually pretty nice. It's 70s right now.
Oh, nice.
You guys in Alaska are like at 40, right? It's pretty cold.
Yeah. 40 for us is getting warm actually. So.
What's up?
Hey, it worked.
There, see? I got the good background too right now. It's nice.
Perfect.
I miss this weather though. I miss having actually like a sweater on, man.
Yeah. Shoot, man. Man, you're from Fremont Bay Area, California. Before we get into the interview, bro, like how's everything doing with you and the fam? You know, during this pandemic, how are you guys holding up?
Oh man, actually, I was kind of like worried about it at first because we're all gonna be stuck at home, and when you're stuck at home, your mind, you know what I mean, your mind can get the best of you,
Right.
But actually, I think it kind of worked out because I actually kept myself pretty busy, like trying to cook a bunch of different things, taking care of my kids, spending family time. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of, I believed it worked out for the best. You know what I mean? You actually, you get that family time in, and it's what's most important. You kind of see through all that, and like I cancel out all that noise that gets to me. That would probably get to me if I was alone. You know what I mean? Because I understand how it feels when you can't get your creative juices working. Like sometimes I'll be practicing in the backyard, and I'm like, yo, I just cancel it. I'm just like, yo, I just forget. I just start just playing music and just grooving instead of like even thinking about anything technical or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It's like a reset to a lot of us, and I think it's just an overall reset to the whole world.
Yeah.
Just we get to appreciate the things we really have. But
I think it's like, I feel you on that. I think it's actually a big wake up call for a lot of dancers too, because you think about this time, and back in the day, we didn't get those like nice opportunities where we get to travel, teach for money, judge and things like that. Like looking at it in a monetary way, like monetarily we're getting hooked up. You know what I mean? And now you kind of see the after effects. Like people kind of got a little spoiled, and now they're like, yo, what do I do now? You know what I mean? And it's kind of good. It's kind of humbling because I think it makes people check themselves a little bit on how they handle their art. Is it supposed to supplement you like that? Are you supposed to depend on it like that? Or, then I think then you kind of get back to the point like, yo, this is supposed to be the thing that I love to do, and I shouldn't be tripping off that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
it kind of hits those points. And I see that's what it's doing to a lot of people right now.
Yeah, that's why it's mad important for people to kind of like have a plan B in a sense,
Yeah.
I know people are like, nah, man, I love this dance too much, and this is all I'm gonna do for the rest of my life, and it's like a double-edged sword, especially during this moment. So I definitely hear you on that.
Yeah, man. I mean, whenever I tell other dancers like, yo, like get them tools sharpened, just don't stick with one thing. There's so many damn things you could do. I mean, not trying to say do too much, but do, you're better than just one thing if you really put your mind to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that's important for sure. That's what I tell my students too, that like, besides this dance, people ask, like, how do you get motivated? It's like, well, you got to have other avenues that you go to. You can't just be this dance, right?
Yeah.
Of course, music's part of the dance, but do you watch other movies in terms of like kung fu flicks, things along that nature,
Talking about that kind of brings back to like, I finally got to actually grab, the Woo book and like shout out to, like, I remember I was looking through Why Not's, shout out to Why Not, because sometimes like, yo, that guy always inspires me because he'll throw in like, some educational pieces, throw out a book or two, and I'll be like, I'll pay attention. I go, oh yeah, that book. I need to go read that book. So I finally got to read the RZA book, and
Uh,
yo, that shit, that was pretty on point right there. So
I gotta check
that
it
one.
out.
I
Bro,
recommend that book for sure.
nice, man. So check it out, man. I got some questions I want to ask you. Did my homework on you, and we got to build a couple times in Seattle and the Bay, but I feel like right now I'm definitely gonna pick your mind more and see what you got to say about the things I'm about to ask, man. Thanks for your time, by the way.
Nah, man.
Appreciate you for
Yo,
doing this.
fam, man. It's all good. Rock Force crew. Represent, represent.
Let's get right into it, man. Let's talk about your early stages in your dance. I know I was speaking to other members in our crew, and they mentioned how you were kind of like a big dude coming in,
Oh
right?
yeah, man.
Yeah. How were you able to get through that mentally? Was it more of like a sense of more motivation because of that, or was it like you kind of felt discouraged at times, you know?
Being a big, like a little chubby kid.
Yeah.
No, I think you know what I got bullied a lot when I was a kid, so I always had like a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. I always felt like I had something to prove,
Mm.
and but the thing was, even though if I couldn't b-boy, I just loved to dance anyways. It's kind of like that thing where we grew up. You know, we grew up on those parties, so they're always having you dance. So no matter what, if I couldn't b-boy, I was still doing something. So like me not being able to b-boy didn't like deter me from dancing at all. It's just that when I started seeing people, like I remember we used to have this house that right here in my block.
Yeah.
There used to be this house that used to have family parties all the time. They were the Garcias,
From C's.
and all the b-boys, for some reason, all the hip-hop dancers and b-boys at that time, and we were, you know, it was in the 90s, they would come to
Yeah.
this house party, and I would see people from Vallejo, Daly City, San Francisco, Oakland. They would all come through to this house, and I just started seeing like b-boys, hip-hop dancers. And then there's this one time where this dude just started, he was doing some hip-hop, and then he got into some, like, I think he was doing some box tuts and stuff, and I was just like, yo, what is that? I was bugging out. And ever
Yeah.
since then, I was like, yo, this is for me. And I got hooked. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So when I looked at it when I was a kid, it wasn't even like a technique thing or whatever. I just gravitated towards it, and I was just on it every day like it was a new toy to play with. You know what I
That's
mean?
nice, bro.
So I think that's what kept pushing me. And then also for the fact that I always wanted to prove something, it's just that came hand in hand. It wasn't even like, yo, I got to train hard. It's just like, yo, I'm about this. This is too fun.
So
You know what I mean?
that's amazing. You went about it in an authentic standpoint. You know, you're like,
Yeah.
and then as you mentioned those parties, you know, it kind of switched your perspective with the dance. Let's talk about those parties, bro. Like, how was the energy like? You said it was like in the '90s. What kind of dances were going on in those parties?
So of course we got like, you know, everything is hearsay. So it's like everyone's a myth or like a legend. Like, yo, did you know, the popper from this crew, or the b-boys from this crew? They're the team to beat, or they're the people to see. So you never get to match a face because it's not like how it is nowadays. You know what I mean? Everything
Yeah,
is just hearsay. So when you see or when you hear about a dancer, it's just like a legend, and you kind of want to, you know, for you want to earn those stripes. You're like, yo, I want to go up against one of these people. You know what I
nice,
mean? So you come to these parties, you never know. You just always had to stay ready. You know what I mean?
nice.
So it's always dope to be at a party, and then you're just waiting for someone that, like back then, you're just waiting for that. For me, I was waiting for the poppers, so I was always waiting to see whoever is gonna pull up on the white gloves. You know what I mean? So whoever was gonna pull out the white gloves, I had my white gloves in the back of my pocket, and I was get ready to put that on. You know what I mean? And get ready for
That's,
it.
that's
And back
crazy.
then, the energy was crazy because you could battle someone for like I don't know how many rounds for days, man.
Yeah,
There's just rounds for days. That's all. There's no time limit, man.
yo, that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
It's dope because speaking of a party standpoint, it's like that's how I got started too. With with parties itself, like,
Mm.
you know, when you go to a Filipino household, for instance, a birthday party, that's how the hip hop got sparked. Because I went downstairs in my cousin's house, and they were just, my cousin was on the turntable, and my other cousin, he was breaking, and they
Yeah.
put me on the spot, and that's kind of like how that all happened. Like, you know, it's dope how you know, that the party vibe is definitely like the most authentic way to go about this dance.
that's the thing too. Like, don't get me wrong. Back in the day, it's like, yo, I love to dance. But for me, being a chubby kid, being able to dance, yo, like, I was a chubby kid, and you know, having that taste of girls being interested in you, and you're a chubby guy, like you know what I mean. Normally, you would be like low self esteem, but like I was making it happen. I was pushing for it. So like dancing with girls at the party was the awesome thing. Like, you know, you had the DJs before they were blowing up. So like these were like all the DJs that were mixing and practicing turntablism at the same time. So you know, you had a mix of DJs doing that. So it was kind of like a fresh thing to see, you know, and you had a lot of different hip hop heads. So it's like you mingled with everybody. You mingled with writers, you mingled with the people that MC'd, you know, that were writing, all the DJs. So it's kind of like everybody was in the mix together. So everybody was familiar with each other, not as kind of like, you know, everyone's in their own tunnels. Right. You know what I mean? Compared to now, but the energy was so in the '90s, pretty golden, man. I miss that era. You know,
I can imagine there's definitely a lot of building. What you just mentioned right there, I can imagine how much you know, how much things you were able to grab and like gems here, gems there. Dang, this is nuts.
Yeah. I learned, yeah, you could say I learned a lot. In the '90s, there's a lot of things that I appreciate from that time, being from that era, that you definitely cannot get in this day and age. You know what I mean? Right. That feeling in that culture, it's something that you can't be replaced at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why it's a blessing to have people like you around. And
I'm blessed, man. I had good people around me too, man. And
yeah,
it's the mentorship too, you know.
Definitely. Man, all right, let's I'm gonna name some crews and kind of just talk about it in terms of how you got affiliated with them, and if you helped kind of grow the crew, or if you were one of the founders of the crew. So I'm just gonna name a few crews and kind of just talk about them. I'm gonna start with Machine Gun Funk.
Machine Gun Funk. I am actually a co-founder of that crew. What happened was I was in a crew with my homie Nicodemus, and we ended up linking up with a guy named Seach and Kazoo. And Seach at that time, he was actually a student of Skeeter Rabbit. So we actually had a crew called Cali Styles, which was a crew that Skeeter Rabbit actually put together. And it was me, Kazoo, Seach, and Nicodemus. Seach used to have like this website called New Studios, and back then it was pretty popular for all the poppers because, you know, it wasn't really YouTube, so it was like, you know, people would go on what's Style to Oof, then you had New Studios, and then there's Wiggles forum. Yeah, Wiggles had his forum, and then you go to freestylesession.com. You know, you find these random areas to find clips, but those were some of the places to find it, and it kind of started from there. Like I built a really strong link with Nicodemus, and then we used to like who was it? It was I'm trying to think of the name of these rappers. They were called Genelec and Memphis Reigns. They're from like, I think, was it Memphis Reign? Yeah, Genelec and something, and they had like this style called machine gun funk, and then the way that they rapped, it kind of felt like the way that we danced. So I was like, yo, I like machine gun funk. You know what I mean? Right. So let's put a flip. Let's put it like Machines Gone Funk. You know what I mean? But it still sounds like Machine Gun Funk. You know?
Yeah.
And it boosted from there. So we started like 2003. But I would like to say like the beginning of that, I think like Skeet and also Pop Tart was a big part of that because he was around it. So, you know, it was kind of good. Like I had the balance of Pop Tart us, and then we had Skeeter Rabbit. So it was like that mix at the same time. So we had like, that's like the best of both worlds. You had the Bay Area, and you have, you know, you got Skeet with, you know, Electric Boogaloo and the Boogaloo style. So it was all, you know, that shit is golden right there.
Dang. Man, since you just mentioned those two iconic people in our community, like what were some things that they taught you and always stuck with you till to this day?
For Pop Tart, I think, you know, I gotta big up Pop Tart a lot because it's raw. It's more when being around. It's more about being around them than actually learning from them what the dance is like. It's talking with them and them sharing the stories with you, because those stories like those are personal stories, and you
Right.
get to see like how the culture was through their eyes. You know what I mean? It's not like saying that you know what's up, but then to understand it, really understand this, the movement and the feel, is seeing them and the way that they interpret the music and what the stories behind some of that music, how they were inspired by that music. You know what I mean? Then you see like the deeper, you go deeper in the rabbit hole with them. You know what I mean? And
Right.
that's where you appreciate the movement more, not just because what they're doing, but the reasoning behind that movement with the music. That why the music drove them to do what they're doing. You know what I mean? And
Deeper meaning.
Pop Tart was always raw with it. You really felt the Bay Area when you see him dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, he's like one of the rawest dudes to watch. You know what I mean? To this day, he's just so funky, strong, and it's crazy. And then when you see someone like Skeeter Rabbit, you're like, yo, this dude's like 6 foot plus. You know what I mean? Big dude, and it's amazing because when I think of Skeet, I think of someone that you just gravitate to. Like, he's a big dude, but he can pull anybody into him. And you look at his history with dance, you see street dance, and you see him in the entertainment business and everything like that. You're kind of like, yo, this guy, he did everything. He was like a man of like many hats. You know what I mean?
Amazing,
and
bro.
there's a lot of respect to that. You know.
That's heavy lineage right there.
Yeah.
Just those two you just named. No,
I'm fortunate to have learned from both of them.
Yeah. Shoot. All right. Let's talk about Electric Boogaloo's family. How did you get affiliated with them?
Well, kind of like, yeah. Well, first it was Skeet. Skeet was my first teacher. So thankfully from Seach was able to introduce me to Skeet. And what drew me to Skeet was that it was like, he didn't sugarcoat nothing. Like, if I remember the one time when I was getting down, he was like, that's not it. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like that type of attitude. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, I gotta like I really need to work on my stuff. Because for me, like in the B-boy scene, it's like you being creative and you doing that stuff. It was cool, but I felt like in some time I was running sets. You know what I mean? And then when I got to meet, Skeet, it was kind of like, yo, am I really dancing? Or am I just running ideas, you know what I mean, and playing it out to the music? And kind of through him, going to him, and then going to Sugar Pop, who was my second teacher, I was able to embrace more of like just being a little bit more open with the dance. You know what I mean? Just seeing what I got, And the cool thing that they always did was they knew I was from the Bay, so they always told me to just flip it, like keep my Bay feel, but add that Electric Boogaloo style to it too. You know what I mean? Kind of mix it up, and that's always been my mentality. They were always open for them. That's why I always gave them love, because they always respected what I did, being from the Bay Area, and they always wanted me just to keep that feeling, but add what I learned from them.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But it started with Skeet and then Sugar Pop. And then from there, finally, I got to meet like Sam, Pop and Pete. I got a lot to learn Pop and Pete, and especially Mr. Wiggles. Learning from Mr. Wiggles was because he's like, he was my all-time hero when I was still just popping VHSs, when I watched him even on Beach Street in the beginning from there. And then I saw him on these, the 7 Gems video. And then, yo, man. Yeah.
That's heavy.
It's a trip,
I can't imagine being in your shoes and just being around those greats that you just named, bro. That's nuts, bro. I mean, it's not everybody in this world can say that they've been trained and mentored by those people. So that's definitely golden right there, bro. Let's talk about Mother Funkers.
Snap. Yo, I wish to this day, there's a lot of things. I mean, probably later on it'll happen, but with Motherfuckers, it's kind of like one of those things that it's an unfinished project. You know what I mean? Like, it's me. Why not? We have Dennis and Kuraul.
Yeah.
We got to do a show at All the Way Live, and there was supposed to be some other stuff that we were supposed to do, but it never got picked up because, you know what I mean? It's hard, we're all doing different things, but I wish we could have, I wish we could do more, or I hope we can do more later on, you know what I mean? And have more people collab on that, because that'll be, that has potential.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was talking to I interviewed Why Not last week, and he brought up the motherfuckers too, and it
Yeah.
was just dope how you guys all had different styles, but came together as a collective to just make make all those styles come to one, and let people know that doesn't matter if you're a locker, if you're a breaker, if you're a popper,
Yeah.
still come together and make something dope, So that's pretty fresh, man.
I think collectively too, we all have like we all get along really good. So
Mm,
like that vibe that we have together, it helps mold that, it helps us kind of find a balance together, you know what I mean, to when we get down, you know what I mean. So I
that's
think
it.
it's part of that too, I if you can't vibe with people, then it's definitely not
Right.
gonna work. But we definitely vibe really good
That's
together.
amazing. Yeah, people tend to forget, man. Before we dance, before we are any kind of artist, man, we're human beings,
Yeah,
and we gotta connect.
for
Before
sure, man.
everything.
I know in this day and age, it's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Like even with me, we're just me and you. We're just like we just started like really like
Yeah,
starting to link up now, and it's dope. You know what I mean? But for me, it's kind of one of those things. Like you rock force crew is like it's kind of like when people get in, there's this camaraderie right away when it
yeah.
comes to into this mode. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Shoot. Speaking of motherfuckers, I know Kuro was also in this crew with you, Supreme Soul. Let's talk about that. Supreme Soul ABDC season 2, bro.
Let's not talk about it. I'm just kidding. No, I mean it's an experience. It was an experience. You know what I mean? I wish there were certain things I wish we could have handled differently,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? Like it all stemmed from Soul Sector. That's for sure. So me being in Soul Sector, that's how we ventured into Supreme Soul and ABDC.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And it was a pretty dope experience. I like the fact that we pulled through as a group, but I just wish it could have went further. It
Right.
went further in certain other areas. You know what I'm saying? But it was nice while to get that experience.
That's dope, man. Cool. Yeah, man, because actually, ABDC season 2 was one of the main reasons why. Oh, it impacted my dance a lot because I was only like 11, 12, and seeing that on TV was probably like it was probably one of the most inspirational things that made me want to dance even harder.
Yeah.
Aside from You Got Served, but ABDC was definitely like, dang, man, I'm glad we have these kind of platforms we can watch, especially as a kid growing up, because knowing us, especially from Alaska, we don't have a lot of history and lineage in
Yeah.
terms of going to a pioneer and OG to kind of like gain and obtain some knowledge. So other things like that really helped, you know, get me by with this dance.
No, I feel you on that. Sometimes I feel like I kind of brush it off a little bit, and then
Mhm.
I forget for the fact, like like I'm a kid living in California, and then you forget about all the other places that don't have like that type of exposure of dance,
Mhm.
don't get to see it day to day. You know what I mean? Like I'm luckily in an area where it's a day to day thing. It was like you see it everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of in a way. It's just formatting, and the thing that I appreciate about doing it was we had a crew and we had all a bunch of different styles that that wouldn't seem like it would work out together, but it did. We were able to mesh together, even with the 1 minute time that you have to perform a set, that we were able to fit and smash in. We were like one of the first crews to actually put all those styles in one. You know what I mean? We had like crumping, house, hip hop, popping, locking. We and b-boy, we smashed it all in in one little piece.
And,
But it was called, all that remnant was from Soul Sector too. So
right.
yeah, yeah,
Dang, was that right? 1 minute pieces per show.
yeah, man. Imagine that.
That's crazy.
People think it's easier to perform 1 minute, but in reality, it's like to smash. It's like, when is there time to breathe, and when is there time to actually feel like you're dancing,
Right.
instead of doing like you see it's always like a setup to something. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like like, are we gonna dance? You know what I mean? Like we gotta fit in some type of groove up in there or something, like some type of feel with the music.
Yeah.
But the music is so mixed up and jagged that there is no time for you to breathe like that. And that's the only thing that like kind of like I was always discouraged about. But we pulled through those routines. But it's just that's the one thing that I didn't feel about it, you know.
Yeah, that's nuts.
But it's
And
part of the show, so you got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. That's fresh, bro. Okay, so let's move on to the one and only Rock Force crew. I know
And
you got in 96, 97, right? If I'm
yeah,
not mistaken.
no,
Yeah, man.
95,
Oh,
95.
95. Wow, that's when I was born, bro.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I wish I could tell that story because Polsky. I wish Polsky's not on here, huh? Or is he ghosted? What's up, man? Where's he at?
He'll probably watch it later.
I know. No, but Ski. Oh man, it's so funny because I felt like we were in this minor league cruise called Ground Rock.
Okay.
So we had Ground Rock crew, and the reason I kind of linked up with Rock Force is there's Sean, Mega Man, Sean Burgess, and he was like a big brother to me when, like, at that time. So I went to Moreau, like going to this high school. I went to Moreau, but before that, like we had the squad like in junior high, So it's sort of like most of the people that were in Ground Rock got picked up and moved to Rock Force. So like we had Ryan Roque, we had also like Jeremiah, we had Maya, and a couple other dudes. So I remember we battled some of the Rock Force members in the garage.
Word.
I know they'll probably deny it, but we got them shook that day. Polsky was trying to battle me, but I remember me, Maya, it was Reynold. Who else was in there? I know we were battling Sean, we were battling Polsky. I forgot who else was in there, but we took him out that day.
I wish I had footage of that.
And I think, and then I think from there, like we kind of like we set it up because we were all in the this performance at Aloni, and that's where we had there was Huge. She was the other leader of Rock Force at that time, and he put us down that night. So and I think even after that night, the reins got passed to Polsky a little bit after that, and Polsky led the crew after that. But man, there's Rock Force stories for days. I'm gonna tell you that there's Rock Force stories for days.
That's why
we can go on and on and on.
Speaking about Rock Force, bro, let's talk about Battle of the Year '98. What was that process like for you? And how was it like being able to convince your parents to let you go? Because I know there's like a little something about that. Can you kind of talk about it?
Yeah, I knew you were gonna get into that. All right, let me tell you how this went down. So I had some strict parents, and Filipino parents, they're strict.
Right.
So they weren't really feeling the whole dancing thing. But I went to this private school that I went to. We had I came up with a scheme. I was like, yo, if I could get this form, because we used to go to retreats all the time. So we had this retreat form, and all I did was white out certain sections, and then I recopied the retreat. And I changed dates, I changed everything, and then I fixed it up. So I gave it to my parents. So I'm going to be gone for these whatever days, blah, blah, blah. And then my mom signed it off. At that time, too, you could type a letter, and then I forged my mom's signature. And on that letter, it said, like, from my parents, like, oh, my son is going to be out of town from this date to this date, blah, blah, blah. Please excuse him for whatever. And then signed my mom. And I gave it to them. So it was like, it was a swap. So I did that, and I was good to go. The only thing I had to figure out was find the key for the lockbox to find my passport, which they had. And luckily I figured it out in time. And then right before we left, I had my passport ready to go.
Jeez.
Yeah, man, dude. And got my trip to Battle of the Year and made it happen. And then I remember that first year we were on the newspaper, and my mom was like, oh, so did you, what's this about Germany? And I was like, oh, no, I didn't go. It was my crew that went, and I was just, I bullshitted. And then the second time we went, because it was my senior year for 99.
Yeah. So
the not my senior year, it was after my senior year. But my mom ended up reading my my yearbook. And then it says, they asked everybody on the subheaders, what's the craziest thing you've ever done? And I left the country without my parents' consent.
They saw that.
Dude, my mom, she didn't talk to me for half a year almost, dude, I think.
How'd she feel about it now, though?
No, no, and she appreciates it. Like,
Nice.
she understands a little bit more now. It took a long time for them to actually see that, but when they saw that I kind of made it really efficient for myself, and then I kind of showed them like how I went through it, like got over those humps, then they had respect for it.
Like, yeah.
Me being an artist, yeah.
Likewise, I feel that, bro, because my parents did not want me to dance at all, but it was this one moment where I was able to bring somebody with me to the Kelly and Ryan show in New York City, and I asked my mom to come with me, and my dad was so excited he flew himself out to New York. So at that time, my parents were like, "Okay, let's let him do his thing," So yeah, for Filipino parents, you better be dope at it.
And that's the beginning for you too, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's awesome though. But see, that's just the beginning for you, man.
Exactly, man. Just super blessed to have people like you around, Ski, John, Kareem, bro, the whole crew.
It's the same, no matter of the age, like mentors are the mentors, but then also when it comes to the group, you kind of look. I was always observant with everybody that was around me in the crew, and I always try to find, no matter how crazy a person was or how whoa, like I always try to find like the things that inspire me the most out of each person. Because out of each crew, I can go with Rock Force. I'm like, yo, man, we were like if I would talk about that time with the squad, it was crazy. Because you have like a lot of high level dancers in one squad. Just imagine us trying to get along all the time. It's not gonna happen, and it goes for most crews. You know what I mean? It's just the way like our mentalities are. We're just everyone has like their minds are on blast, and it's not a personal thing. It's just that's the mentality. You know what I mean?
Facts.
But at the same time, I think out of the crew you have certain people that were a little bit that kept it down a little bit. But I was kind of like that guy, so I was neutral, and I was just observing everybody and trying to figure out the little things that inspired me. But when it comes to Rock Force, that's the thing I would look like. With Nam, I would look for the 7 O's and more. You know what I mean? That mentality. So I took that to popping. I was like, yo, I gotta have 7 O's and more. You know what I mean? I gotta come out like that. That's the mentality.
Yeah.
Certain things like that. You just look for someone in the crew to push you in certain ways, even if it was a different dance style.
What's up, man? Speaking of that, in particular, you mentioned how you're kind of a neutral guy, and talking to other people in the crew, ask questions about how you were. They just say you're really supportive and a super chill guy. Yeah. So in the dance community, how are you able to navigate through that, knowing that that's how you are as a person, but also dealing with people like, oh man, I'm smoke this guy. Just dealing with people like that really think that they're out to smoke you, they're out to kill you, and things like that. Like, how were you able to navigate in this dance scene with keeping that mentality?
Well, you know what I mean? Like calm before the storm. So that's always like my mentality was always to keep it chill, because I know like when time comes and you have to pull, you got to pull out the guns.
Right.
I was ready for it. You know what I mean? And that's the mentality I always kept. I know like you can't, there's people that are loud, and then there's people that are just, you know what I mean, that are just mad aggressive, and you just got to find your lane and stick with it. You know what I mean? It's not my personality to be hella aggressive or be hella cocky or nothing, but I know how to smoke you in a quiet way. You know what I mean? So it's like that. It's like I would say like I got a silencer. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like that quiet. You know what I mean? And then you're out. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that. Like that's how I kind of navigated through that. Just kind of like you find your lane. You understand who you are as a person and how you dance and your character, and you could be loud in a different way.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's other ways to represent that and push it out. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna quote that. You can be loud in a different way. That's what's up. But no, man. Speaking of knowing your lane and that stuff,
I was out of my pajamas, bro. Dude, that's the one thing I regret. Okay, if I had any regrets, is some of the fits I chose back in the day. Sometimes I'm just like this dude. I'm like shaking I'm like, yo, man, And then sometimes I laugh because I'm just so lazy. Like I don't care. Like I'll be filming something in my room and I'm just like I'm wearing my Muay Thai shorts or like my pajamas and I'm getting down in like my gear that I slept in. But I'm just like whatever, dude. I'm just dancing and I don't give a shit.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's true. I gotta like you know what I mean. It's not who I am. You know what I mean. But
Nah,
it's just me being comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
that's important, bro. Like that a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
But shoot,
Jackie, D-Funk. Sorry, I'm just seeing some
how
people.
you good? Shout out Miss Funk. What's good, Miss Funk?
Miss Funk. That's the sister right. Oh man, that's fam right there.
Yo, Miss
Remember
Funk
when
is
I
the
was living in LA? Breezely and Miss Funk, Jackie. Oh, that's family right there.
yeah. They're actually a reason why you know the scene in Alaska which is like in a sense of reviving again because of them, man. Because they came out here to really bring the community together and just have people work together, and that inspired me. Like, yo, let's keep this going. That's why we had Mighty Four Alaska, because they kind of like lightweight helped out with the rebuilding process again. Not lightweight, they did help out. So shout outs to you guys.
Miss you too, Jackie. But yo, like Jackie and Breeze, the program that they've been doing for a while, and that Versus Styles,
Yeah,
and
man.
and everything that they're doing, that platform, it's like man, you know, it's not easy. It's not
Right.
easy to do what they're doing, you know, and keep doing it year in and year out. And props to them. That's why, like, I'm glad that you were able to work with them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And yeah, like straight up, it is much props to them always. Like
Shoot.
they're doing.
Looking forward to future ventures too, because I'm sure we're all gonna, you know, make
Oh,
some
it's gonna
dope things
definitely be
happen.
some links.
Yeah.
Things are happen for sure. Yeah.
But shoot, let's so we got 20 minutes right now. I wanna ask you this in particular because you know, with being under the tutelage with Rock Force and you know, being mentored by Polsky and Johnny, that they would always just show me clips of your top styles, right? And
Mm.
specifically speaking, you're rocking. So I know that you were at Pro Am 99, and you actually saw like the whole sequence of that rocking showcase on stage, right? Like the Incredible Breakers and
Yeah, yeah,
King Up rocking them. Like,
yeah.
after that, I know it was that like the moment where you got inspired to rock.
No, you know what's crazy? I saw that and I was digging that and it was hit my mind. But the thing that actually got to me is when I was actually outside. I was sessioning with Boogie Brats. So it was
Or
me. Who is it? Was it Monkey or who else was in Ryan? No, not Ryan. It was Monkey and somebody else. And we were, I think Cross was around there at the same time. But it was Frank Boogie was out there, Gizmo, and Kamel. And Kamel
or
was rocking the whole time, and I was just like bugging out. Like, yo, that was the moment when I was in Miami that actually got to me was spending time with them outside, getting down. We were sessioning that time, and they were going off. And I remember Frank Boogie was going off hard, and I was just like, yo, I need to step up my game, man. And then and then Kamel came in rocking. I was like, this guy's nuts. You know what I mean? Because it was actually, it was like I got to see him in Battle Year '98, but I didn't get to see him like that.
mm,
You know what I mean? So that was kind of like what kind of drove me into it. And then I saw Ken Swift during, I think was it after or before that? Because we were at Battle Royale. It was when we got invited by Lacey, DJ Lacey, rest in peace.
rest in peace, yeah.
They invited us over for his event, and we went there, and then that's when I saw Ken Swift get down, and I was kind of like that. That was kind of like that catapulted me into it, and that's how I got the feel. And the funny thing was, I was just messing around, man, a lot. I didn't really have any techniques or nothing, or I didn't really have a good understanding, because you know a lot of the history and the understanding wasn't really pushed out. I mean, I wasn't able to grasp enough of it. I was just
Right.
able to like see and hear it from like VHS tapes and anything that I was able to grab. But it was definitely one of those things that hit me hard, and I kind of found it as like a substitute when I wasn't feeling popping. I would go into start rocking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, finding different inspiration from different things, man. That's
But
amazing.
I gotta say sorry to Polsky because he used to get mad at me because I wouldn't push hard enough for it. You know?
Oh yeah.
He used to get pissed at me so bad, man. Yeah, man.
Shout out Ski, man.
Yeah.
That man. But all right, let's speaking of your rocking, bro, there's a particular moment that I'll always remember in your in one of your moments in terms in battles. It was Vegabonds versus Rock Force Crew '99.
Oh yeah.
So you started rocking against them, and one person started rocking against you, and then the whole crew started rocking against you,
Oh,
and you were by yourself. And Rock
that
Force was about to come, but you're like, "Hold up, I got this," and you just
that
kept
that's
rocking.
not that wasn't Vagabonds. That was I think that was Flomo.
Oh, was it Flomo?
I think it was Flomo. Or was it Scandinavian crew? It might have been Flomo, dude,
Okay.
at that time. Or I could be wrong. But I think it was Flomo. But yeah, was it that the one that was a little different when it was Vagabond? Vagabonds, I just was trying to go for everybody. But
Yeah.
that one, it was kind of they ganged up on me, and then I just told everyone to stand. That was fun, man. Because I was kind of being ballsy at that. That was the day I was kind of being ballsy. I was like, yo, I felt a little good about rocking, and I wanted to go at it with people and just see like if people would feel it, and people were feeling it that day. And you know, that energy with the with the crowd got me hyped. So I was like, yo, I could just keep going off with this. And then at the same time, I was thinking strategy, like, yo, I'm giving the crew some breathers. You know what I mean? And let me just kill it with this. You know what I mean? And it felt good to actually, be, for the crew. That's just like getting points for the squad. You know what I mean? It felt good to add to that. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing. You know what I mean? When you're getting down with the crew, if you're not holding back the crew. If you're pushing up the crew, you know what I mean? It's the best feeling you can have. You know what I mean? That camaraderie in the battle.
Facts. And that's dope how you said, I'm gonna give my crew some breathers real quick. Let me go out. That's dope because it's like, you know your role. You know what part you gotta play.
Yeah.
And, man, that's important for sure. Especially in a crew battle like that at a high level. So that's dope, man. So with popping, when did you get into popping, and how are you able to like balance out being in a crew with such it's a breaking dominant crew, right? So how are you able to like find that balance with being a popper involved with Rock Force crew, which is breaking dominant?
Well, at the time, like that's how the culture was, you know what I mean, and that's how everything was familiar like that, because most crews, it was just like how we would see on the tapes. Most crews had one or two poppers, you know what I mean, per crew. So it was normal. And for me, it's just I knew my niche and I love popping more. So I would do that, and whatever, when I get down with the squad, I would just get inspired by what they do, but I'd flip it in a pop in my own little way. And at that time, technically, I wasn't really popping because I wasn't really, I was doing a form of it. I didn't really learn popping until I was like, like the real technique until like maybe like 8 years after, until I started hitting like 18, 19. That's, and then I finally got to learn from, from Skeeter Rabbit, and he was showing me more techniques with contractions and everything, muscle contractions. Yeah.
That's nice. I like that a lot, man. Definitely gotta build with you on some popping, because I'm really also aside from breaking, I'm really trying to up my game too with like different styles of dance, not just breaking, because I know there's more, and there's always gonna be more. So definitely want to up my knowledge with that.
Those tools, man.
Yeah, I feel it. But yo, let's talk about man, what was it? I want to ask something else about popping. Oh, how was your rivalry, right? Your rival. Sorry, I know Salah was your rival at a point. Like, how was that? How was those moments against that guy?
Like it was crazy because like, we don't, you go to battle of the year, and when you're young, like when I was 13, it's just like you're looking at dance from the garage, right? So you're on this level where you're in a country, you don't speak the same language, but you have the same type of anger, the same type of feeling, you're sharing the same type of dance, but from your being, from your, from your area, the way that you're getting down, and you know what I mean? It was crazy just being in that mode with that person, you know what I mean? I didn't even think about it. Like in my head, I was just like, yo, I'm battling the Frenchies, I'm battling the French, we're just getting down. I wasn't really looking at him until maybe after it happened. After the fact, then I'll go, okay, you know, I'm gonna see this guy around, and you know what I mean, like, and that beef, it wasn't even like really beef because we didn't hate each other. We just
Right.
wanted to go at it with each other.
Yeah,
You know?
it was on the floor and it stayed on the floor.
Salah's personality is so crazy, you know what I mean, and it's out there, and he has one of the strongest. You know, you see it to this day. He's by far one of the best performers this world's ever seen. You know what I mean? He's the stage man, like, you know, and much respect to him. And at that time, to battle someone like that, it's not easy. You know what I mean? So I had to really strategize on that and keep thinking about it. And that's why, like, even when it came 99, I was like, yo, I got to be ready for this guy because he's gonna be coming at me. And the crazy thing was, yo, like, the way that battle started off, I mean, Iron Monkey and them were going at it in the circle, but I remember Salah going off, and I was on the second floor, and I didn't think he saw me, but he was getting down. He pulled off his hat. He looked at my direction and then pointed at me. So I had to run downstairs. I didn't even think he saw me, dude. I was like in the dark. Like I was watching from the downstairs because I didn't think it was popping off yet. So I was still just maneuvering around. I think I was with Ski and a couple other people. And then we had to run downstairs because it was about to go down. And then most of the time people only see that certain segment of Rock Force versus Vagabonds. But there was like 30 plus more minutes or 40 more plus more minutes before that actual crazy battle started.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Rock Force versus Family, Vagabonds, bro. Like
the red tape.
Yeah.
The one that cross filmed, man.
Dude. Man, we can go all day about Rock Force, but
I mean, at that time, that was the first battle that wasn't a tournament, that was caught as a raw battle, and that was, you know, you didn't have that really like too much. I mean, there were VHS tapes, but to get it that clean,
yeah,
you know what I mean, that wasn't happening yet. You know, Cross got lucky with that one.
Sure. And that battle was kind of like, you know, the first stages of like how IBE came to be.
Yeah.
So that battle itself is mad historical, bro.
Just that night felt invincible. Like we felt invincible that night, man. I remember that. It's everyone just was in Super Saiyan mode, man. Yeah, that was crazy.
So, man.
Yeah.
Right. So we got 10 minutes, a little less. Let's answer some questions from these people. But before we do that, Kareem told me to ask you this. That's from Kareem. He mentioned how you've been in the scene for you've been in the scene for a while to be a really big influencer and, you know, be that sense of icon for the community, but you're still able to compete at a high level in battle. Like, how are you able to balance that?
Well, right now at the moment, I wouldn't say like, because I haven't really been competing like this last year or two. Like I've been in and out of certain battles, but not like anything huge. Yeah. Maybe because I just wanted to take time to work on different things. But like after, like, you know, I did the Cirque thing, right? And I was still in tip top shape. So like even around that time, which was about like 2010 to 16, probably 17 was my last huge battle. I think I was just really fine-tuned in shape at that time. Like my health was like super high. I was like at 160, 165. I was training Muay Thai at that time too. So it was like, you know what I mean? Like I was able to balance that out. And that's the thing is like when I hit my 30s, I had to find like an alternative for fitness. So, you know what I mean? Like I really took Muay Thai seriously, and sort of that was my equalizer to help keep me into shape. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
Yeah. This last year I can't say that. I'm probably like at 180 right now because I got my dad weight from the recent baby. But I'm starting to run again, so I feel good.
Yeah. Hey, plus this pandemic, man, like, you know, we can't really go anywhere, so I feel it.
See, like Jackie's like, you're still in shape. I was like, you didn't see me like a couple months ago. I was like, yo, I lifted up my shirt. I was just like, no good.
All good, man.
Yeah.
So this one's from Surf Boogaloo. He said, Tommy Boy versus Bionic Man. Can you speak on your history and battle when you had his ponytail in your pocket?
Oh man, I think it was just that rivalry that we, you know what I mean, like, because the beat during that time, they had, you know, Style Elements was there, and before that, they had what was the squad? I can't. Oh my god, why is my mind? I can't even think about it right now. Where's J Rock at? I think I saw J Rock up in
Yeah,
here.
J Rock is chilling.
Yeah, J Rock was up. No, but you know what I mean. They were the ones, man. They were the ones to beat, and during that time, our crew, like you know, there was Renegades, and let me tell you the truth. Like when I was younger, I liked Rock Force, but I also wanted to be a Renegade too when I was like a
Oh,
kid,
word.
because you know, like you see these crews and you're just like, yo, look at Jeff Aquino and Politics. Like I was really inspired by those guys.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like when I was 13, like those are the guys I was watching, but I remember getting punked on by, like, you know, you get punked on by these guys because you're like the up and comer,
Yeah.
and you have, it's natural to have all these rivalries because everyone has their own crews. You know what I mean? So me and Tommy Boy, of course, like we always like were battling a lot, and there was always like a strong rivalry because I always wanted, like I didn't hate him, I just always wanted to battle because he was one of the best in the Bay. You know what I mean?
Right.
He was the dude. He was doing like, and he was pushing levels, man. That dude was doing stuff with his t-shirt, with his tail. Like he was like, for me, he was always a challenge, and it for me wasn't so much like I wanted to battle because I didn't like him. I wanted to battle him because like he challenged me to get better and figure out how to fine tune myself. You know what I mean? I wanted to elevate myself, and battling him got me better.
Nice.
Same thing with Politics, dude. Politics was crazy. Like to me, like Politics is one of the top dudes that you could watch from the Bay. Like that, his creativity level was insane, man. Like
Jeez.
sometimes I think it was passing up people a lot to see what he was doing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But a lot of those guys from the Bay, there are a lot of creative dudes in the Bay, man.
Shout out Renegades,
Even
man.
Filipino dudes, man. There's like Jeff Aquino. There was, you know, they had Raccoon. They had Romney. There's the dudes in Vallejo. There's so many poppers. King Louie from Street Poppers from Oakland. There were so many like golden dudes that no one got to see, man. They don't get to see too much, you know.
It's a history. Shoot. Okay. Here's the question. What's the difference between all styles and open styles?
For me, I don't even think there's an all styles. It doesn't make sense to me. Like even though it was used for events, it's like I wouldn't want to refer to that. I would like to refer more to open styles. You know what I mean? I think I can be guilty of it too because I think I've held an event and called it all styles, and I kind of regret doing that. When you correctly want to do it, because it's like if you do all styles, it's like, are you really do all styles? You know what I mean? Or are you just doing snippets of all styles and smashing it together, calling it, like saying that you could, just because you did like, you did a point to, into a lock, into like a boogaloo roll, into a drop down, into a six step, like like doesn't mean you can do all styles. When it comes to those battles, I respect the dude that could morph into the music more, right, with what they're doing, and embody that music. Whatever music is played, they can just put themselves into it. You know what I mean? I respect that more, and they're still sticking with their style compared to someone trying to do like everything in one. Yeah, it looks like it just looks like a run-on sentence to me when I see that.
Right. Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Very, very insightful right there. Miss Funk asked, are you moving back to LA?
At the moment, I'm feeling pretty nice in the Bay Area, but I do miss LA in a way because there's an energy there that I do truly appreciate, and there's a hustle there in your mind, and there's a hustle energy in there. I remember I used to it would be like I would wake up, go. I would even train with Miss Funk and Breeze. I would train with Breeze, and then we'd be in his garage training. And then the next day, I'll go to, I'll go hit up Running Canyon. I made at least a couple of trips to the canyon every week. So constantly every day was planned out, eating healthy. Had I would go Running Canyon. A little bit after that, I'd go drive over and hook up with my homie to go train. Devious, he said, LOL, don't you lie. What are you talking about? What do you mean? I was traded, man.
That's funny, bro.
Yeah, man.
Don asked, when are you coming to Alaska, though?
Yeah. When can I go to Alaska? That would be nice. I would love to go to Alaska.
We were actually planning a huge event next month, but since this all happened, I don't think it's even going down anymore. But hopefully, man, we want to bring you guys out again. Mighty 4 Alaska 3. that'd be great. You know.
Oh, you mean no, dude. I would really love to experience it. That's one place that's on my bucket list too. Anyway,
Yeah.
Come visit. Be nice to build out there, man. And I know you're doing great things out there. So
Got to,
no,
man.
I accidentally read that thing. It says, "No, I'm saying that you don't miss LA, bro." I do miss LA, man. Like I don't like out here. It's kind of tough to like link with people, man.
Yeah.
In LA, I was able to link with people and train with people a lot. You know what I
Right.
mean? On downtime. Now it's kind of like a little different. I gotta adjust. I gotta find new people to train with. You know what I
I
mean?
feel that.
Yeah.
Well, shoot, man. We got like a couple more minutes, man. Is there anything you want to say to all the viewers, all the followers that tuned in today? Just like anything you want to close off with this, and just you know, anything you want to say, brother.
Nah, man. I just I think it's a good time for people to build. You know, even though we can't physically link, I think it's a good time for things like this, like where we're getting to know each other, where we're getting to share certain things. You know what I mean? Like it's a value that it's a very valued thing that we need to take more at hand. Like we need to make more connections. We need to build relationships. You know, I know that for me, I wish I could do a lot of things and help out more people, but I'm only one person. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes it's hard because like you got to watch your ass too, and you got to help yourself too. But it's like it's a tough way to balance it out. But I think as long as you can link and you can share and find some way to like give something to someone that they can take and then figure out for themselves how to make happen. You know what I mean? You can give them a link to something, or share this, share a book, share like some history, share some like share some knowledge, dude. Anything.
I love it, bro. That's amazing. That's a gem, man. Well, man, Bionic man, I appreciate you for tuning in, bro. Thank you for your time. I wish we could. I hope we can do it again.
Man.
You already know. This was Icey Talks episode 2 with the one and only Jonathan Bayani, also known as Bionic Man, brother, straight out of Fremont Bay area. Thank you again, man. Make sure to, if you're not following this guy, please follow this guy. His IG is all of it. It should be here somewhere. But yeah.
Bayani. It's on the top there under your name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, shoot. Take care, everybody, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in, man. I appreciate you guys' support. One love.